speech in Munich, Germany as the top director, $1 million director, #1 director in the Pearl Seminar. And she, at that speech, she talked about the IT factor, and that is actually the name of her national area, the IT national area. And when I talked to you about Oprah's story yesterday, the thing that Oprah did when she interviewed those young girls for the leadership school is she looked for 2 qualities. One was an academic excellence, which of course we talked about. Why did they even have the desire for that? We know that that was God. God's preparation. That He caused them to want to prepare for that leadership school that she was going to build and that they were going to be invited to attend. That was one of the requirements, however, was academic. The second was what Oprah called the it factor, the it aspect. And what she meant by that is that when a young woman would walk into the room, she would be able to know instantly whether they had it or not. And it is a charisma, it is an essence, it is an excitement, it is an adrenaline, it is a momentum within the person. That's what the it factor is. And I truly believe that is your hidden treasure. Is that everyone has an essence. And everyone's essence is different. But I think that the majority of people in the world go to their grave without ever discovering what their essence is. And your essence is your trump card. Your essence is that when you are in communication with people, it's what causes them to want to listen. It's what causes people to connect with you in a room when they're across the room from you and they desire to do life with you. It is the ability for people to warm themselves up to you immediately and trust you because of your essence. It is that something within you that makes you special and wonderful and amazing. And sometimes we discover it and we let it out. Sometimes we're aware of it, but we keep it contained because we don't think that it's right to put ourselves out there and display, because we don't think it's okay to let that come. Okay, Brian, that's enough. I can't get it. I'm trying so hard to concentrate. My paparazzi husband is right here. And he's about to take pictures and he's so dark and looking, I cannot focus in. Figure out what it is, and then allow yourself to utilize it in building those relationships with people and meeting people and being in the world that causes them to want to connect with you. So, this woman we're about to introduce to you, I could go on and on about her accolades, and many of you know that I could, because she is one remarkable woman, 3 times $1 million director on a mission with a locomotion of momentum toward National Sales Director. And you know, always the interesting thing about any kind of mission is that when you have momentum going, Great things can happen in suddenlies when momentum hits town, when locomotion just kind of converges, then all of a sudden things together and they multiply and they combust, and it's exciting and you can feel it from their area. I would like the Gamboian unit to stand up today just to see how many of those consultants you rallied together. Very exciting. So, with no further ado, Amie Gamboian!
One of the skills and arts of leadership is to begin to create memories before they even happen. So months ago in our area, we began the preparation for advance. We began talking about what this would look like for you. We began discussing what we wanted you to take home in your hearts. We began laying out class plans and uniting our hearts more than anything about this weekend would look like. An event like this takes thousands of hours. We do have the greatest national sales director in all of the country. And we need to thank her for this experience that she has given us this weekend. So thank you, Stacey. In our area, future area as well, we began preparing. We knew we were coming to Oklahoma City. My incredible assistant Zoe got online. She looked at where we'd go on Saturday night. Did y'all have fun last night? Yes. We had discovered the pink cupcake. We prepared. We printed flyers. We decided to create an event about it that would come after our dinner last night for our area. And since we're building a national area, we said future directors and DIQs are going to go to the Pink Cupcake Factory. I mean, what else is more perfect? So we had it all lined up, and 6 women committed, and they made it happen. Erica made it happen. Shauna made it happen. April made it happen. Rebecca made it happen. Raisha made it happen. Tyra made it happen. They were with us. And we went to the Cupcake Factory. Well, we had had dinner beforehand. We got there, walked in. Who went to Pink Itzel? Was it not magnificent? I walked in. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Crystals coming from the sky. And all the swirly, beautiful, all the pink, the black and white. Candy in big, huge vases, wrapped with tulle ribbons, all these wonderful, yummy, goody treats and special things you can pick up for little girls and take home to them. And you know, we have Victoria and Juliana at home. And then I spotted it. The pink horse in the window. And those of you who know me, you know that I have a love of thoroughbreds. I have a love of champions. I have a love of Secretariat. Victoria holds the little stuffed one, keeps him in her bedroom, And Juliana always says when she's running, I'm running fast, Mommy, like Secretariat to win the race. We love that concept. And of course, in a Mary Kay family, we love the color pink. There it was. So of course, my consultants, knowing that I'm their fearless leader, said, mount that horse. For the perfect photo opportunity. Now, mind you, I wasn't quite at my equestrian garb, Kathleen, with the 3-inch heels and, but Tyra gave me the boost. And I was one leg over, and in runs Katie, looking a little nervous. We forgot to pay at the restaurant. Okay, don't worry. They did have the card on file. They just wanted the real thing. And some of our consultants stayed behind for collateral. That's how committed you are to the vision and to the mission. I love it. So we got that settled. But the fun part was when Katie went back and found Zoe, who unfortunately had grown some gray hairs in that 10 minutes of coming to find me across town, said, I don't know what they were doing, but she was riding a pink unicorn. So ladies, here's what I know. When you're on a mission, you don't care how silly, you don't care how foolish, you make mistakes, it's okay. If it takes riding a unicorn to go to national, line them up, all right? And what I do know without question is that in Mary Kay, you can have your cupcake and eat it too. All right, so let's talk about the weekend. Let's talk about the weekend. You can only imagine how I prayed that my message this morning would impact you and give you a nugget upon all of the nuggets that you have received this weekend. And so I hope and pray that there's something that you might hear that will just touch your heart in a special way, or maybe tie a bow on something, or maybe just add a little extra shimmer so that your vision is that much more clear. We've talked a lot about needs. And the most important thing that we all remember is that no matter what your motivational need, that God desires for everyone to steward their calling to victory. And it's not because of you, it's because of Him and what He did for us. Daily when I take Victoria to Lifegate Christian School, I'm greeted by a sign that's painted inside of the church. And it says, He came to give us life more abundantly. Write those 3 words on your paper. Life more abundantly. How do women take a $100 starter kit and a desire for something more in their life and turn that something that seems so meager in that little box into something mighty? Well, it is remembering, and we've walked the road of remembrance this morning with the incredible teachings that we've had. But it is remembering that we do serve an awesome God. A God who can take 5 loaves and 2 fish and feed thousands. A God who could heal a woman bleeding for 12 years and she just touched His cloak. A God who can speak the words of healing, not even touch a person, and it's done. A God who led millions of enslaved people out of slavery. We have to understand that first. Life more abundantly. What does it mean to you? And how can you live this way? How do you take revelations that are big and profound? Some of you brought to tears. Some of you brought to giddiness that even can't describe it. How do you take it home and put it into action and life and outside of the pink sparkly bubble that we love to be in, so you can change your life? I want to spend just a couple moments on a few things that were addressed this morning. Not long, but a couple of moments. What's important to know is that when we're figuring out how we want to live life abundantly, sometimes it's like the dating scene. Anybody been there? Recently or a long time ago? From my experience, it took experiencing some of what I didn't want to find what I wanted. and my incredible husband, Pete. Life can be like that, can't it? So what don't we want, and what do we want to avoid? Without question, fear. I'll just share one thing with you about it. A couple of years ago, I was going through a difficult season in my business. There were times of pain. Goals weren't coming together. Things seemed really, really far away. It was a challenging time. It was what I would call a pruning season in my life. And we were driving down the road, and Victoria was in the back seat. She was little. And I was just speaking out, I will not be shaken. 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 And she said, oh no, Mommy, you won't be shaken. Hold on. And I kept saying it. I was in the zone, I will not be shaken. And she said, life is really, really cold. Even really, really cold. I will not be shaken. I will not be shaken. Write it down. Post it up so you can look at that every single day. I will not be shaken. When you know you will not be shaken, you can conquer doubt. You can conquer disbelief. I watch with awe at a 21-year-old woman in my unit, incredible girlfriend of mine, Rebecca Schlegel, who I hope and pray my daughters grow up to be just like, who has sky-high belief, who taught a group of consultants 2 weeks ago how to put belief into action in our unit, that nothing will sway her, because she's got a system of the words that she speaks out. In fact, this weekend I've heard her say to consultants, oh, don't say that, you don't want that to come true. Because her belief is so strong, and the words that she speaks are so solid, no doubt will enter her life. You've got to look out for the demon of confusion. I feel so blessed that we're in a company where it is so crystal clear what we are to do. If there's any confusion at all in this room about what you would do when you go back home, I want to clear that up for you right now. It is with passion, focus, intention, and purpose. You put product on faces and share the Mary Kay opportunity. It is always and forever 48 years strong, faces and fun facts. That is what we do over and over. Never gets boring, never gets dull when you keep a vision and you keep a passion and your love of people strong, okay? Insecurities and comparison game, out the window. It's deadly. It's toxic, as is procrastination. We've come together this weekend and we've come to be changed. Who arrived to be changed? You came to be changed. You came with the right purpose. You came with the right intention. We're here. Now we're mobilized. We're intentionalized. We're purposeful. And now we go out. There is no room. There is no time for any one of us to have procrastination. The time is now. You have got to take a stand against things like this in your life that are toxic. Fear, doubt, disillusionment, confusion, procrastination, insecurities, comparison game are toxic. They are a poison. Take a stand. I love watching Shauna Manning, soon-to-be sales director. Take a stand. This is what she says when she gets out of bed in the morning. The enemy better look out, because I woke up again. How about you start saying that too? How about you start saying it too? That's the kind of woman that we've got to be. So life more abundantly. Scripture tells us, for God did not give you a spirit of fear and timidity, but a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. Do you realize that because of this spirit infused in us, in this incredible company, power, love, self-discipline, say those 3 words with me. Power, love, self-discipline. Power, love, self-discipline. In this company, that amazing things are happening every single day in Mary Kay. Do you realize that? Amazing things are happening every single day in Mary Kay. And they can be happening to you. So what do we have to do to live the life more abundantly? To live life big and full out and to claim it, to own it, and to have it be yours. You have first got to believe what he told you. You have got to stand on God's promises. Sean has been working through some serious, awesome, incredible personal growth lately, and she's been reading the book from Beth Moore. Many of you have read it. If you haven't, it is great. Believing God. Who's read Believing God? My $1 Million Girlfriend, Leah Nelson, introduced it to me years ago. I've read it multiple times. It is fabulous to help you get that belief in alignment so it is rock solid. And here's the whole concept of it, is that you've got a 5-statement pledge that you speak out every single day. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I believe a couple of things about belief. I believe that one, it is a gift. That God blesses people with belief. That He blesses people with faith. How many of you feel that you have that, like Rebecca? That He blesses you with belief, He blesses you with faith. Amy Kittrell, blessed with the spiritual gift of faith and belief. How many of the rest of you feel like, I got to work at it a little bit? I don't think God minds. We work at it with Him. So here's the 5-statement pledge. If you want a system for how you can increase your belief in your life, the number 1 statement is that God is who He says He is. God is who He says He is. Number 2, God will do what He says He will do. When He says, I came to give you life and life more abundantly, He will do what He says He will do. When He says exceedingly and abundantly more than you can hope, dream, think, or imagine, He will do what He says He can do. When He says in Psalms, I command victory for my people, He will do what He says He will do. Number 3, I am who God says I am. We got deep with that this weekend, didn't we? You are designed exactly as you are supposed to be. There is not to be a duplicate of you. You are who God says you are. Number 4, I can do all things through Christ. I can do all things through Christ. And number 5, God is alive and active in me. God is alive and active in me. You don't have to rely just on you. He's alive and working in you if you have made that commitment to Him. So how do you implement this in your life? I listened to Shauna last week as she shared with all of our consultants what she's done. And I said, Shauna, how many times are you saying this today? She said, I can't even count. That's called, like Shelley Philkins said, praying along the way. That's called, I will not be shaken, no matter what. And she wears a blue ribbon around her wrist today and every day to remind her of those promises. You might use a system like that. To live abundantly, you must accept your assignment. How many of you feel like you have been issued an invitation this weekend? Raise your hands if you feel an invitation has been issued to you. You've got to accept it and not necessarily have to figure it all out now, but to know that you will. When I watch DIQ Tyra Swenson work, she doesn't worry about all this stuff that she could get all caught up in. She knows her calling. She's stewarding her calling. She knows it's now, and she knows she'll figure out what she needs to figure it out as she gets there. Does that make sense? God doesn't reveal the whole picture to us on purpose. If He did, we'd get too scared, or we would never depend on Him. He will show you everything you need at the times that you need it. You've just got to trust. You will figure it out as you go. Another thing that we've got to be willing to do to live life more abundantly is to run in our own strengths. I was fascinated through our process this weekend to watch the process of self-discovery and watch you figuring out where you knew you were. And just that whole, it was a process. And it will continue to be a process as you continue to work through those things. And I encourage you to do that because what we've done this weekend has only just begun. This isn't like a close the notebook, tuck it away. This is a historical notebook. These are historical notes. And I'm going to press this into my soul. And I'm going to just eat this up, and I'm going to just work this around, and I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to dig deep. And some of you are like, I so don't want to do that. But where it's at. Personal growth. See, God does not care as much about the car you drive, or the baubles that are on your fingers, or the title that you do or do not have, or any of that kind of stuff. He cares about your character. He cares about who you're becoming. He cares about your investment in your progress on the life path that He has given you. You've got to run in your strength. And when you do, you will love your life so much more. And how many of you want to love your life? And that much more. Exceedingly and abundantly. Okay, well, one of the things that I think we figured out this weekend is that it isn't all about success. That it's about significance. And I would love to ask all of you, how many of you feel that you are called to something bigger than yourself? And how many of you feel like it is significant?
Yes.
And it is making a difference in the lives of people?
Yes.
Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy says it this way in one of his books, that success has nothing to do with trophies that align your mantle or don't. It has nothing to do with win-loss records. It has nothing to do with rings, Super Bowl rings that are on your finger or are not. It has everything to do with the significant difference that you are making in the lives of other people. And the only way that you can do that is to play full out in your strength zone, not questioning, not doubting, without fear, and running your race. I want to give you a couple of basic action steps to take home with you, to maybe work on your way home, or to get busy on them when you arrive. This would be a system, by the way. When you take time to process after an event, after a weekly success night, after a conference call that's particularly moved you, at some point of time in the month, perhaps the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, this is called personal development time. Having had the privilege of working personally with Dr. Baxter, Diane Baxter's wonderful husband, he has shared with me that it is the number one thing that leaders tend to neglect. How many of you feel that everything you do is for everybody else and not for you? It's important to take time to give yourself a moment, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, to process, to look at what's in front of you, to allow yourself to be creative and get excited and to figure out an action plan. So this isn't just a mere suggestion. This is something that top leaders in our company and other corporations and pastors of churches do on a weekly basis, is personal development time. And you'll do it after this weekend. These are the things that I want you to do during this time. And you might choose to do something different. You might choose to do more. But I'm going to provide some suggestions for those of you who are thinking, I don't know what to do with all this stuff. How many of you in this room are thinking that? I'm not sure what to do. Where do I go from here? We're going to collect it and then we're going to run. Okay? So number one in your personal development time is I want you to list as many descriptions as you can of who you are. Who you are as God sees you. Who you are as you desire to become. So if I were going to introduce you, what would you want me to say about you? Because all that is totally in progress now. That's about as good as done. We just get some time, some faces in between here and that, right? That's the first thing you're going to do. Because to move forward with clarity and with great direction, you have to be centered on the inside first. Yes. And to know who you are. Yes. And whose you are. Yes. Right? Number two, the commitment to hang with winners. Now my girls are going to be like, uh-oh, pull her down now. She's on the box. Okay. I cannot even contain myself with how much I want to be in every single one of your faces and say, do not miss a unit meeting. Do not miss a citywide event. Do not miss the next big thing that's coming, which is leadership. And it is because there is power like no other in the gathering. And I love technology and I embrace technology. I'm so grateful for everything that we've got available in our world today. But chatting and texting and conference calling is not this. Do you agree?
Yes.
You've got to make a commitment to always hang with the winners. Now I know I'm preaching to the choir. You all came this weekend. So who can you go back and grab your hand and bring her to the next thing? Whether it's your Monday night meeting, whether it's a citywide event, it doesn't matter. Who do you go back and grab? Because it's not about us. It's about everybody else, isn't it? So you hang with the winners. Number 3. So make a list, in other words, in your personal development time of who you want to hang out with, what you need to commit to being at, and who you could bring with you. Number 3, I want you to make a list, as long as you possibly can, of what you want your life to look like. Loving our life is not something that can be packaged and sold. If it was, all of us would be bazillionaires. I love my life. I have joy that I want to ooze over people. I have peace. I have harmony. My needs are filled. I surround myself with great people. I love my life. When you love your life, people want to come row the boat with you.
Yes.
They want to get on the train. You gotta live your life. And there are times, and I have been there, where it requires a gratitude journal. That is a system. A gratitude journal that sits on the little table next to your bed, that you fill out each night. Maybe 5 things, maybe 10, that you're just grateful to have in your life and that you appreciate. What is it that you want your life to look like? I'm going to challenge you to write 50 things. 50. 10 will be easy. 20, okay. By 30, you're going to be pushing it. But living abundantly is not for the fearful. It's for the courageous. So this is going to be a list that has the basics covered, like financial freedom, basics. But then it's going to get audacious. It's going to get bold, and it's going to fire you up. Then I would encourage you, put some pictures to those things. Jeannie Martin showed us a couple of years ago at seminar in one of her incredible speeches, putting together a dream book, and the power of visualization, the power of pictures. In having our oldest daughter in a vision therapy program right now, I have learned from her doctor that vision is a third of your brain. It's a third of your brain. A third. If you are not seeing what you want your life to look like right now, you have to create it in pictures first, and then you will live it. Because you will see it, you will speak it, you will own it, and Scripture tells us, as a man thinketh, so is he. Okay. I think about Erica Olaf, soon-to-be sales director. She sent me an email a couple of weeks ago. That was an email that was just really from her heart following a conference call. And in that email, she shared another email that had been sent to one of her supervisors in her job. And that email was about the things that were a bit frustrating to her in that position. High income, great title, kind of married to it. And she made suggestions, and they were great. I'd love to see people work together more. I'd love to see more esprit de corps. I'd love to see more training in these areas. I think there could be more recognition. Great ideas, great suggestions. but they weren't taken to heart. She knew what she was looking for, knew it clearly. It's no wonder that Mary Kay found her and that God brought this to her. From this woman who had clarity about what she was looking for, but didn't know it was going to come packaged in a pink box. Do you know that she will offspring a unit in our area November 1st, just joined June 6th? That we will offspring another unit in our future national area November 1st. Tyra Swenson, who is a personal team member of Erica's because of her vision. And that our unit right now has nearly 50 women in it as a result of what this one woman's clarity about some changes she thought might be good in her life would do. Amie Kittrell always says, it only takes a spark to get the fire going. You're the spark. As I begin to close things here, the next thing that's so critical about living a life of abundance is to prepare. It is to prepare. Now, girlfriends, we have been prepared. This weekend was the preparation ground. So when we go back home, we don't have to prepare. It's not a get ready, to get ready, to get ready, to get ready someday. Because we all know that someday is not a day of the week. We are prepared. In the story of the Israelites being delivered from Egypt and Pharaoh, do you know that as God gave Moses the word that the time is coming, the plagues were over, I'm moving you out, and you're going to be given favor to go. Do you know that it tells us in Scripture, they didn't know when exactly the time would be, but they were prepared. They sat with their full garb on. Their bags were packed. The animals were ready to leave, so that when the message was there, it is time, they were ready to go. Are you prepared? Did this weekend prepare you? Are you ready to make phone calls? Yes. Are you ready to set up some faces? Yes. Are you ready to set up some fun packs? That's all it is. It is not preparing product to look pretty. It is not alphabetizing things. It is not making up packets at this point. That could happen November 1st. Okay? Right now, it is taking the excitement. It is, don't even harness it. Let it be unbridled. The passion, the enthusiasm, and you just get connected with people. And lastly, I will leave you with this in our steps, is action. It is action. This is a business of action. I have loved it so beautifully this weekend. We have heard the message of belief, and we have heard the message of action and go to work. I have loved that. Because years ago, when Melissa was mentoring me as my director, I remember having a conversation, and I said, so it's really kind of like this simple. Like it's kind of belief plus activity equals results. And she said, yep, it is. We've been reminded this weekend of the privilege that it is to work this business. The privilege, the honor, the blessing of investing into other people. It's action. It's action. It's hustle. It's hustle. Do you got the hustle in you right now? Because your calling has come now. How simple does it look from here to the end of October? How many faces and how many fun facts? That's how simple. See, launching pads don't have to be major. In fact, we often start here, kind of meager, and then it goes to mighty. So what you do in the next 2 weeks is going to set you up for November and December and everything else that is to come this year. So it's just those two things in the next 2 weeks. Life more abundantly. Is it possible for you? Scripture reminds us all things are possible for those who believe. Accepting the invitation when it's given to you. Wearing the slipper when it fits. Putting on the jacket that was designed for you. I believe it's as good as done when the decision is made. Success and significance are not for the chosen few. They're for the few who choose. The next big event is leadership in Atlanta. It's where all the great memories are going to be made. All the girlfriend time, the sisterhood, the education and training from the nationals in our company, top leaders for you to learn from. The investment in your future and being with our corporate staff and seeing how stable and secure our company is to take us into the next 50 years. The recognition will be grand, the party's as glorious as seminar. And there are women who are being asked to come to Atlanta in January. National sales directors, directors, future directors, and DIQs. I hope and pray that if you felt an invitation for leadership this weekend, that you will say yes to receive that invitation. You might think that the dream in your heart, or that you are meager, but remember that the God you serve is masterful at taking the meager and turning it into the mighty.
Yes.
So if you have not felt an invitation, consider this my invitation to come and join us and live life abundantly so that you can live your life in victory. Thank you.